Salutations friends, welcome back to my channel. Today is going to be a tag video. The wonderful, talented, amazing Smurfygurly tagged me to do my 5 fragrant things you didn't know about me. Now, I was going to do this video later this week, but some of the videos I was planning on during earlier in the week still need another day or two, so I figured today would be the perfect day to do it. So, if you'd like to know the 5 fragrant things you didn't know about me, then keep watching. So, one or two of these things I might have kind of mentioned or mentioned a little bit in previous videos. Other things I haven't mentioned before. So let's go. The first thing I want to talk about is what got me into fragrance, which was my very first job. My very first job, I worked at a store called Douglas Cosmetics. I believe that it is a kind of like a German store, but it's kind of like Sephora, and there's only a few of them in the States. And they hired me to be the cashier and to also help out with fragrance. Everyone else was a licensed makeup artist or had worked in cosmetics for a number of years, so they were all the beauty side. But for fragrances, they just needed somebody who liked fragrances and knew about fragrances and was willing to get spritzed on multiple times a day, and everyone else was too good for it, but I was just right, and I actually really enjoyed it. And I worked there for, I want to say, about 6 to 8 months. I quit because one of the coworkers I worked at was a horrible person. I won't get into that, but if you guys want to know more about that experience, I'd be more than happy to talk about it. But I was also 16 at the time because I could definitely have not been the great employee that I thought I was, so who knows, it's a weird situation. But that company was known for having a ridiculously large fragrance collection, just as large as some of the department stores. We had every single Creed fragrance. We had a lot of niche brands that now I know are niche brands. At the time I was kind of green to everything, and we had hundreds of bottles, and I mean, I loved helping people select fragrances for gifts or for themselves. I adored it, and before that I had liked fragrances a lot. Before I worked there, I was wearing fragrances like green tea from Elizabeth Arden, and I was also wearing fragrances like the gummy bear one from Walgreens, and my best friend was wearing at the time cotton candy. And then working in this store, with my very first paycheck, I bought a bottle of like light blue from Dolce & Gabbana, and that's what immediately sparked my love affair with fragrances. And ever since then, I'd been collecting. I'd save up, I'd buy a bottle or two a month. And by the time I left, I had a bunch of bottles from gratis, and I had a bunch of bottles just because I was collecting them and I love them. And that's what initially sparked my fragrance collection. And I was 16 at the time, and that was half a lifetime ago. I'm 32 now. So I can honestly say that that job was my first experience really in the world of fragrance, and I absolutely loved the fragrance aspect of that job so much. I loved it. Another fragrance thing you didn't know about me is, even though I had fragrance bottles and collect fragrance bottles, there was about 2 to 3 years right out of high school where I would only wear one fragrance. I had all these beautiful bottles sitting very comfortably and safely in my cabinet, and I just refused to wear them. I went through this phase where I didn't want to smell like anything other than this amber balm that I got from a new age store. You know, they're in like these little, I was trying to see if I had one over here, because sometimes I keep them by my, because I still really like them. It's like in this little like stone jar, and the top comes off, and then there's this like balm, and it smells like amber, and it's really synthetic, and it's really sweet, and it's really warm and syrupy. And for the longest time, that's the only fragrance I would wear. And I would maybe add some Honey Gentle Water from L'Occitane, which is another favorite fragrance of mine. But I just wanted to smell like amber, and I love the whole experience of it, like the little jar and the little balm. And I got it from this like little kitschy like new age store, like the health food stores where they have the essential oil area, and I'd always get like 1 or 2 because I'd go through them so fast. I'd have one in my bag, I'd have one on my vanity area. That's just what I wanted to smell like for a long time. And it was like 2 years. It was probably like right out of high school, like right before I started to get like a real kind of career-esque job, when I was jumping from job to job to job to job. that just is what I wanted to smell like, and I still I love that fragrance. To me, it's a little bit synthetic. It's not the best fragrance in the world, but it just takes me back to that time, and I just really enjoy it so much. So yeah, I had all these beautiful bottles of fragrances just waiting to be worn, and I was a brat and was like, I'm only wearing this. And I probably went through in 2 years, probably like 24 of those because I wore it so much. But I did really, really love them, and I still do. They're still really nice. It's kind of a little sad thing, but it's in the past. When I started really wearing fragrance a lot, it was actually because I was being bullied. I think a lot of people have experience with bullying, so I'm not saying I'm anything special, but my middle school and my elementary and middle school, we were all in the same class because it was a very small private school, and so we would go from class to class to class, and we all were the same students. I was never one of the cool kids. I was always made fun of, mostly because I had a really disgusting habit when I was in 1st and 2nd grade, and it carried on into 8th grade, even though I didn't do it for like 6 years. That's not the point. Everyone would make fun of everybody, and there was just a select group of people that weren't made fun of. It was just not a good time, not good people, but there were some good people in there. But out of our group of friends, there was some of them that were kind of like your frenemies, like friends' enemies. Anyway, I was like the lowest on the totem pole. And they always, whenever I wouldn't do anything that they wanted to do, like say if we were deciding if we were going to go do something and I'm like, oh, I don't know if I really want to do that, they would constantly say, oh, you've got BO, oh, who's got BO? Like every time. These nasty girls, and I thought they were my friends every single time. I carried deodorant with me. I put on deodorant like between every class. Like I knew I didn't have BO, but it was just this like thing I had. It was this nasty thing that they said to me, and so I started wearing perfume all the time in middle school. And they'd come up and they'd be like, "Hey, you have BO. You smell gross." And, like they wanted me to do their homework one time, and I was like, "I'm not doing your work." They wanted me to do their like art homework. They're like, "Oh, can you do this?" And so she brought over her little sister, and she's like, "Ew, something stinks over here." Like it's this horrible thing. And so I started wearing a lot of perfume back then, and it was like, it wasn't like expensive perfume. It was just, you know, like my mom would get me like a bottle of like body mist, or whenever we'd go, I'd always go to not Bed Bath & Beyond. I always get them mixed up, not Bed Bath & Beyond, the Body Shop, and get like their like body sprays. And I always had 2 or 3 in my bag. Like I know it was them being mean, but it kind of hit a little hard with me. So that's ultimately, and I don't, you know what, the thing is like, kids will be kids, and even though they were like 13, 14, I should have known better to know that they were just being mean. And it's not my fault, and it's, you know, it's just, it is what it is. It's literally like so almost 20 years ago. But that's when I started really wearing a lot of perfumes, was then. Before I would have a body mist or 2, and I really like to smell good, but it was when I started getting made fun of for smelling bad that I kind of clicked, and I started to want to smell really nice. And actually kind of am thankful now, because I love my hobby and passion. All right, number 4, for the longest time, I could not stand the smell of Chanel number 5. Not a little bit. Couldn't even be standing next to somebody. It was just so rancid, and I just couldn't stand it. I didn't know why people liked it so much. I would sell it to people, and it was just one of the fragrances I was just like, ugh, and they'd be like, can I spritz it on you? And I'd be like, okay. It just smelled so bad. It smelled like, it's rancid. It smelled rancid. All the other fragrances that are kind of along the lines I love, but there was something about Chanel number 5 I didn't like at all. At all. Nothing about it was appealing to me, and I steered clear of it, and a lot of other Chanel fragrances for a while, just because I didn't like Chanel number 5 at all. Now I love Coco Chanel, and Coco Chanel is one that I wore. I tried it as an EDP, and I just didn't like it as much as the Eau de Toilette. I really like the way the Eau de Toilette smells on my skin a lot nicer than the Eau de Parfum. So that's usually why I only have a bottle of the Eau de Toilette. But Chanel number 5 just reeked. I couldn't be in, like, oh, I hated it. And then, like, I stopped working at the place, and it took like 10 years for me to be out of the perfume business. And I think I was at like Sephora or something, and I was just kind of like, as a giggle, I was like, oh, I'm gonna smell this again because it smelled so bad, and I was changed. It's something about my nose palette. It's kind of like what I say, like everyone has different palettes, like, you know, you have a different palette of flavors, this different palette of nose. I had kind of like grown up, and I appreciated, I could really tell the distinctive notes in it, really appreciate how pretty it was. And I was just kind of like, it was like a light came off and I was like, oh, this is gorgeous, oh my goodness, where have you been? Like, it smelled so good. And then I loved wearing it after I bought a bottle. Literally that day I was so tickled by it, like, because I had hated it. Like, it wasn't just dislike, it was hate. It was hate. It was rancid, it reeked, it was gross, I didn't like it. And just like something about like growing up and smelling different things, just being older, like I could start to see its beauty. And now I love it. It's one of my favorite fragrances, and I've gone through so many bottles of it, which every time I wear it, I still kind of get a little tickled because I didn't like it, like, at all. I hated it. Hated it. But now I love it. It's so good. So yeah. So that's the other thing I want to like say is like, you can change. Your taste can change. Your nose can change. But my nose has changed for the better, thankfully. But yeah, I really, really enjoy it now. Last but not least is there is not a moment in the day where I am not wearing a fragrance. I wear them to sleep. I wear them when I wake up. If I take a shower or a bath, as soon as I dry myself off, I spread something on. I am always wearing perfume. Always. Sometimes they're like a body mist, sometimes it's, but not like, I'm not talking about like body lotion, like I'm talking about either wearing a body mist or a perfume, any type of fragrance. I am always wearing something. Mostly because I feel like I always want to smell nice, partially because of what I talked about before, and also because I just love smelling nice. You know, it's just something, there's just something about, I love, let's see, how can I put this? Have you ever been like in a store or a shop or a boutique or just out and about and somebody, a man or a woman, just smells really good and they just walk by and you just like remember how they smelled? I love that. There's just something really cool and intriguing about someone that smells really, really good. And I always want to smell good. It's just, I don't know, I love it. And that's why I think I have so many fragrances in my bag, and I have an evening fragrance and a daytime fragrance, and then I have a sleepy fragrance. And it depends, if my evening fragrance is a little bit heavy, I won't put on an nighttime fragrance, a bedtime fragrance. Generally my bedtime fragrances are my Elizabeth Arden ones. I love those for sleep, they're so good. But yeah, I am always wearing fragrance, always, and I love it. I love it so much. So yeah, that's my fifth thing. You probably knew that one, but you know, I figured I'd emphasize it. Like, I want to smell good all the time. I'm always wearing a perfume, even if I'm home in my pajamas. Like, I'm sick right now. I've been going through a sickness for weeks, months at this point. It's not crippling, it's more annoying at this point. So even on days where I'm literally in my pajamas, I just kind of put on a fresh pair of pajamas because I kind of always have to change my clothes. I'll put on a fresh pair of pajamas, I'll spritz perfume, and I'll just sit in front of the computer watching YouTube videos, usually fragrance videos, or currently I've been playing Overwatch. So I'll just be playing video games or watching YouTube videos, and I'll just spray perfume. And I'll spray nice perfume, you know? I'll spray like my Roja Enslaved, or some of my other higher end niche. It doesn't matter to me. I'll spray whatever I want to smell like, and so I'll always smell nice, and my husband hates it because he hates perfume. So yeah, I'm always smelling something beautiful because all my fragrances are beautiful. So yeah. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Again, thank you so much, Smurfygurly, for tagging me. I was really tickled when I saw that, so I hope that you liked this video because you wanted to see what I had to say. So thank you. With all of these challenge videos, I tag everybody. If you guys want to do this video, go ahead. I'd love to know what you guys have to say. But I specifically am tagging Fragrancy blog. I would love to know what she has to say about her 5 fragrant things so that nobody knows. So I'm specifically tagging Fragrancy blog. I'll let you know. But I want everybody. So if you guys end up doing this video, please let me know because I will watch it. And I hope you enjoyed this video. As always, if you guys like these fragrance videos, remember to give this a thumbs up. It lets me know to continue doing my fragrance videos. And also don't forget to subscribe. It's free, and I'm free, and I'm touching my face again. I don't know why. And I put out new videos every Monday through Friday, and sometimes on the weekends as well. So I'll always have something for you to watch. In any case, I hope you guys are all happy and healthy and have a great day, month, year, whatever. And I'll see you next time. Bye!